Coming up on this week's episode, King Schools updates their Cessna learning and tracking platform. Test Pilot School welcomes its first female flight test engineer commandant. And Utah Valley University's aviation program upgrades their Diamond DA40 fleet. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly news program dedicated to all things flight training, as well as the amazing industry built around it. There's no segment more important to the growth of the aviation world than the flight training community. I'm Sophie Hurlock. King Schools has updated their Cessna flight training system to make learning easier and more fun for future pilots, particularly in the sport and private pilot course, instrument rating course, and companion apps. Some of the new features in this upgrade include updated navigation, design, and functionality for iPhones, iPads, laptops, and desktops. Flight instructors will also see major modifications of features in the course tracking application. The CTA tracks individual student training progress, online, offline, and even in the air, using an iPad app that syncs the offline progress to the system whenever the instructor reconnects to the internet. King Schools and the Cessna Aircraft Company have had a 24-year partnership, collaborating on combining flight lesson tracking at the flight school with home study courses for learning pilots, creating the first fully integrated computer-based flight training system. The current roster of courses include private pilot, instrument rating, multi-engine, commercial, and CFI. Stick around because we've got Around the Patch coming up right after these messages.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Well, fellow pilot, right now we are at home, feeling nostalgic for Oshkosh, and I'm sure you are too.
So to celebrate the Oshkosh we all love, and to help you stay productive, we're having our biggest sale ever, 22% off all King Schools courses through August 4th.
So we hope we'll see you next year at Oshkosh, but for now, get your 22% off all King Schools courses by using the code Oshkosh.
Welcome back. It's time for today's trip around the patch. An additional 15 Pakistani pilots have been grounded by Pakistan's Aviation Authority, following reports that surfaced last month stating nearly one-third of civilian pilots in Pakistan have a fake license. At a National Assembly, Ghulam Sarwar Khan, Pakistan's federal minister for aviation, stated at least 262 pilots in the country paid someone else to take their pilot's exam for them and do not have any flying experience at all. The investigation began after a Pakistan International Airlines plane crashed into the city of Karachi on May 22nd, when the captain attempted to land the aircraft without landing gear, after being warned by air traffic control that he was too high up, killing all but 2 on board. Khan has not yet stated whether or not the pilots on board held real pilots' licenses. United Airlines and ALPA have come to an agreement on initiatives to help reduce future pilot layoffs due to staffing imbalances caused by the pandemic. Earlier this month, United Airlines warned it may have to furlough over 2,000 pilots and cut as many as 36,000 total employees when their federal bailout money runs out at the end of September. This agreement between United Airlines and ALPA includes early retirement packages for pilots nearing the age of 65, company leave of absence programs, as well as voluntary furlough offers that will allow pilots to maintain their benefits. The company said it designed these furlough mitigation programs and early out options to find as many volunteers as possible who are interested in stepping back from active flying. Sterling Flight Training of Jacksonville, Florida has ordered a Frasca reconfigurable training device that will be configured as a Piper Archer G1000 with a wraparound visual display system and is qualified as an FAA AATD. The device includes digital sound simulation and provides a high level of realism, enabling students to easily transfer their learning from the AATD to the aircraft. Students at Sterling Flight Training are required to complete a total of 25 simulator hours, practicing a variety of maneuvers and procedures including an IFR cross-country lab, instrument approach, holds, and more. If you want to win a free King Schools course, kneeboard, and flight bag, send us a story suggestion to news-by@aero-news.net by August 31st. Each story will give you one entry, and each contestant is allowed to enter up to 5 times. Additionally, you can enter to win by filling out our reader survey by clicking the link in the description below. The survey is limited to 1 entry per person, but can be counted along with any news story suggestions submitted. We'll be right back with the rest of the news. On July 9th, the Air Force Test Pilot School said farewell to outgoing Commandant Colonel Ryan Black and welcomed their new Commandant Colonel Sabrina Pabon, the first woman and non-pilot commandant of the school since its inception in 1944. Pabon graduated from Desert High School on Edwards Air Force Base prior to becoming an Air Force officer. She graduated from Test Pilot School in 2006 as a flight test engineer, and soon after served as Chief of Flight Test Safety and Flight Commander of the 416th Flight Test Squadron at Edwards Air Force Base. She then moved on to become Performance Branch Chief and FTE instructor at the school. I am extremely honored and humbled for this amazing opportunity to serve and lead this outstanding team as we continue to educate and train our future flight test professionals, Pabon stated. Utah Valley University's aviation program has expanded their flight training fleet with 9 new Diamond DA40 XLTs, which will help to train their students more efficiently and effectively. Where once 2 types of aircraft were used for VFR and IFR training, the DA40 XLT can fulfill both roles in one modern aircraft. The 4-seat configuration of the aircraft allows students to sit in the back seat and observe their peers, allowing them to learn by watching without any pressure to perform, which will help to decrease the overall training time. Alan Dennis, UVU Aviation's chief flight instructor, stated, "When the DA20 C1 fleet needed replacing, the DA40 XLT was the obvious choice. Having a single aircraft type for each VFR and IFR training will make it easier for our maintenance department to control fleet ability. It also curbs the learning curve when our students progress from private pilot to instrument training." And that wraps up this week's episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. To get the latest aviation aerospace news any time of the day, head over to aero-news.net. Have a great rest of your day and come back Friday for an episode of Airborne Unlimited.